Jack.
Hey, folks, listen, we're going to get started in about 30 seconds. But before we get started, I kind of want to address the elephant in the room. Look, we're in the Pantheon. We cover pop culture, but I know that right now Twitter is exploding. The news is exploding. We're seeing the biggest land invasion of another country since World War II, and it is scary times. And this is on top of a pandemic. This is on top of rising gas prices. And when gas prices goes up, the price of everything goes up. All right. Inflation's high. So times suck right now. And it is kind of a scary period because I wish I could promise you that things are going to be okay globally. Unfortunately, no matter what happens, sadly, a lot of people are going to die over the next few weeks and months. And the best we can do is hope and pray that peace prevails. But in the meantime, it almost seems stupid to do a show about Netflix or the Batman, but there's nothing wrong with just sitting back and just enjoying yourself, taking your mind away from the world's problems, not ignoring it and putting your head in the sand, but just relax, talk about dumb stuff that means nothing. And look, in the large scheme of things, the stuff we love means nothing, but it means something to us. It helps us get through the day. So for the next 2 hours, I will give you a panacea with a little bit of this and a whole lot of this. Welcome to Jivin with Jack.
Get ready, get jiving.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and genders all across the spectrum, to episode 4 of Jivin' with Jack here on the Poindexter Lounge as part of the Poindexter Pantheon. I want to thank all of you who have been joining us these last 2 weeks. We appreciate it so much. Caden appreciates it. Austin appreciates it. Enosh appreciates it. You guys are the reason we do this. We have a lot to talk to you about. Big news. Netflix Marvel is going to Disney Plus in Canada. But what does that mean for us? Are we ever going to see those shows again? Are they going to edit it? Are they going to take all the good stuff out of Jessica Jones and Luke Cage? You know what I'm talking about. We don't know. Plus, a little bit of a Batman Easter egg I'm sure you guys have heard about on Google. We're going to talk about that. And you know what? Zack Snyder is trending with a GOAT. You know what? Maybe Army of the Dead should win. Not because it's a good movie, just because it'll piss off all the right people. Plus, we're going to also touch on this game, Elden Ring. Look, I'm a gamer, and I had really not been following this game at all. I haven't even seen the trailer for this video game, but apparently it is getting amazing reviews. And it sounds like it's going to be one of those once-in-a-lifetime video games. That'll be the later half of the show. Plus, we didn't touch on Dave Chappelle on Tuesday. We're going to touch on it today. I want to bring in right now, Austin's running a little bit late. This is what happens when you live in Las Vegas. All those guys and girls and drugs and booze, but he'll be here. But at the moment, let me bring in our producer. When you're in need, folks, call Caden Reed.
What's up? What's up?
Very 90s of you. I am. Dude. I couldn't sleep last night watching the news. That's not what today's show is going to be about. But I was like,
no. But I was on stream with Enosh for like almost 6 hours. Like we started so we were like, and someone was sleeping and they were gone for like the whole 5 hours of it, basically, and they were muted and had their like camera off. It was just fun. It was just fun last night.
Can I tell you a funny story, guys? This is a true story. I'm going to embarrass a friend of mine. Ty, back at Pop Culture Corner, is one of the hardest working people I know. This guy he will go days without sleep.
Oh, yeah.
Editing and all this stuff. But this poor guy, he should have been getting rest. He still went live because he had promised a show. So at that time, Ty is running StreamYard. Austin didn't have it. Only I had it. So me and Ty had access to the StreamYard. Ty, poor bastard, fell asleep during a live stream on air. And Austin had no way of ending the show. So Austin
Oh,
like calls me like 1 in the morning, like, Jack, I need you to get on StreamYard and turn off the show. It's just
oh,
live. I have no way of ending it.
oh my
This
gosh.
stuff happens. Like, if you're up, I mean, the amount of
That-
hours you got to put in to do these things, it's crazy.
It's crazy, and I was just like, I was like, at the same time, I was like there was a point where I was just like, I want to go to bed. But at the same time, like sometimes there's certain conversations I want to be part of, and like especially what's going on the internet right now. I know that if I'm in my bed, like it takes me an hour to an hour and a half to go to sleep, and I know that if I'm in my bed, I'm gonna be scrolling through Twitter and all that stuff. It's just gonna get me anxiety. So I was just like, you know what, I need to at least like step away. So we played a game that I saw someone play on another stream, and that I added my own twist to some parts of it. And so we played that for like a good hour, and then we started talking about Kristen Bell's family's fart problem, and how Dex Shepard is a stupid guy, and how he thinks that protein shake is water, and fills up water beds with protein shake. Basically, that's just all you got to know about that. But yeah, it was fun last night, and
yeah, I mean, I wanted to come on. I'm usually out by 11:30 midnight, but like last night I was just watching the news, and at some point, like, turn it off, take some NyQuil. I kid you not, I took a chug NyQuil, and I just passed out. I had to take my dad to the doctor's appointment this morning, and I have a solution. Always try to watch something funny as you fall asleep. I don't know if you guys have a TV in your room. I put on maybe Friends or The Office or something funny, just so you're in a kind of a good mood as you doze
Remember
off.
when Devil All the Time came out, and I watched that movie, and that movie's just dark and deep, and it's just like, it's like it brings you down. It's just like that whole movie's just like, ugh. So like I remember I had to watch half of a season of The Office before I can like just go to bed and like
watch something funny. And sometimes I leave it running. I was like, as I'm on, I'm like, whatever. I paid like $2,000 for this TV. I'm just gonna let it run. And I wake up in the morning, it's still playing. Or it's like Netflix is like, do you want to resume? I'm like, nope. But let's say hi to everyone. I want to thank everyone for being here. Antonio, that's Edward Kenway, I believe, from Assassin's Creed 4. What's up? Mr. Wayne, another one. You suck. Yes, there will be more episodes of this show, unfortunately. Until YouTube kicks us off or Enosh kicks us off. We're still here. Anthony Beltray. So last night it got kind of serious. So we have a backstage private chat where we all talk, and we were talking about what's happening in the world. And Anthony was there. We were talking. Tarun, nice to see you, my friend. BlackRock 316. OER today, Thirsty Thursday, baby. Is that woke Caden? Are you mean awake Caden? Woke.
No, it's something that Anthony calls me woke.
Yes. Andrew Casali, what's up? Hey, Andrew, how you doing? I dislike Friends. Very overrated show. That's what I say about you, Justin. You're my overrated friend.
To me, I know my sister likes Friends, but I don't like Friends. Because I think it's a bit overrated. Like, not my taste of things. But if you like Friends, that's fine. Whatever. I don't care.
Aaron.
What's up, Aaron?
World Order. The AWO. What's up, guys?
Yeah, it's but my my favorite sitcoms and comedies are The Office, Parks and Rec.
Okay. Yeah, I love I love The Office. Like, Parks and Rec I never fell in love with. I watched the whole show and I liked it. I just never.
Yeah. Right.
The first couple of seasons of Modern Family are great.
I have to the thing is I watched them like sporadically, like they would be on the TV, but I never watched them. What's up, Aaron? I never watched them. So, but like I know like there's like good stuff behind it, so I want to like get back to watching that.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Aaron, real quick, I was just curious about you. Are you a martial artist? Because it looks like you're in a gi. We'll wait for an answer from Aaron. Everyone stop.
Now, 5 minutes later.
5 minutes later. But sitcoms are weird. I don't think there's a funny sitcom on right now. Like my favorite sitcom of all time, I think might be like All in the Family or like the first couple seasons of Arrested Development. And Friends is definitely up there.
Sitcoms have changed. You know?
Yeah. Well, you know what it is? They're not edgy. Like Friends at its time really pushed the boundaries. Like it was the first show to use the word tampon on air. It's weird to think of it that way. Like at the time, it was a pretty not edgy, but like they made jokes about stuff you wouldn't. Oh wow, you're a black belt. That's awesome. I have a black belt. I wear it with my suit.
Oh,
Dum-dum. It's a regular belt.
Yeah.
Game's a little bit slow today.
No, I understood your joke.
Welcome,
it just
Ibrahim.
was just a very painful joke.
You know what? I've been telling a lot more dad jokes. Guys, we're gonna get to the show, but I just want to break Caden in because this is the first time I think you've opened the show with me, right? Because you joined Tuesday. Well, this version of the show, I mean.
Well, this version, because this version,
yes, superior version of the show.
But yeah, like I've done opening with. I think one time I think.
Wait, what did you just say? I've done what?
I said I think you've had me open the show on PCC before.
I swear to, I thought you said opioids.
Oh.
And you were like, I've opened the show on opioids. I'm like, I have to see that. Living Single is one of my. I have to catch up on that. Everybody Loves Raymond. I missed out on that. There were a lot. See, the &90s were the era of the sitcoms.
The '90s and the early 2000s
were okay. They were episodic. It was the era of Star Trek and Law and Order. But the sitcoms, Frasier, brilliant.
Yeah, the great thing about the sitcoms in the '90s and the early 2000s were just like. They were always family and friend oriented. Like they always had a family behind it or a friend group behind it.
Yeah.
And so like even though if it might be like some crazy episode talking about some crazy absurd idea, it's still friends and family talking about these things. So it's not like even like when the George Lopez show would like talk about when George Lopez's daughter was like getting into like dating boys and he was like talking about the whole thing. It was just like. That's the thing, like, also, like, I think you were talking about this last week, not last week, last Tuesday or whatever, was when we were talking about Full House and how they were talking about, young girls doing makeup. Mm-hmm. And it was just, like, that whole, like, and it's just, like, those shows were so important because they weren't just, like sitcoms that were making fun of stuff going on. It was also talking about real-life stuff that's, like, lessons and stuff, and
the parents were in charge, not the kids. Now I feel like the kids are in charge in these shows, even Modern Family, which I love. Like the kids are in charge, like they're the ones who are right. But so listen, we're going to talk a lot about today. I'm guessing Austin. I hope everything's okay with Austin. He's going to be joining us. Sitcoms, exactly. Even like the dopey ones. Everybody Hates Chris was a good sitcom. I think it only lasted like 5 seasons, but that one had a pretty good one. They were just people were funnier back then. I think right now people are afraid of comedy because they're afraid of getting in trouble. How I Met Your Mother, I'm not gonna lie, could have been one of the greatest sitcoms, but they did not stick the landing. Because I loved How I Met Your Mother, but they did not stick that landing in that last season. I think it ruined it. It's kind of like Game of Thrones.
The thing about How I Met Your Mother is that one thing that one of my friends has also noticed that How I Met Your Mother has not aged well. Like certain aspects of the characters in the first 2 seasons have not aged well. Like the whole Barney situation hasn't aged well. Like that whole
and being like a womanizer and all that.
Has.
Well, you know what? They were talking about that with Friends because Chandler's dad was trans. Yeah. Right. And Chandler, it really screwed up his life from the show's perspective, and he was also he wasn't homophobic, but like everyone, he was kind of afraid that people might think that he was gay, and some people have criticized that. On the other hand, some people said actually I like that aspect because my dad was trans or became trans later in life, and it did affect us. And like the important part is that him and his dad got back together at the end. He invited him to the wedding, and they kind of made a peace. I'm like, yes, that is why that's a good show. It did not have a great ending. I might I don't know where it's on right now.
The funny thing is that there's now a spin-off in the same reality in the same unit, like Earth, whatever you call it, the same era, and How I Met Your Father, which I think is pretty good. I think it honestly, I think it might age better than How I Met Your Mother.
I don't mind comedy because here's the thing: even like bad things can be shown on television if it's in the realm of comedy, like all the crazy things Barney would do to kind of hook up with. But you know, at the end of the show, the idea is that Barney changed. Once he had a daughter, he changed, and there are people like that. You know, but yeah. I'm kind of enjoying talking about sitcoms. We can get to Netflix, but guys, what are some of your favorite sitcoms? What sitcoms are on right now?
Sitcoms. I mean, like sitcoms is a genre. Like, has like kind of not died. It's just that it's like I said, it changed.
They
it has
removed
changed.
The laugh track.
That's the thing. Like,
and I think sometimes the laugh track would help you laugh. It puts you in a mood. When you hear laughter, have you ever been in a place like where people are joking and you start laughing just because they're laughing?
Right.
Like a laugh track. A lot of people don't like it. It kind of gets you.
Like, especially like the best thing about,
loved every scene, didn't he? Welcome everyone.
What I loved about like early 2000s, 2010s, like really like that type of sitcoms is that like when they got rid of the laugh track, you still felt that it was there because like the scene, the way that like they used the camera, they used the visuals, you still felt the laugh track was still there. With The Office, you still feel the awkwardness and the laughter.
Well, here's the thing: they would pause, like they would have an awkward moment and pause because they knew the audience would react. But then I feel like what The Office and Parks and Rec, same creator, did, and a lot of shows try to copy it, was that they forgot to leave that pause in, and then comedy just became, well, let's have an awkward person do awkward things in an awkward situation. So while it works for The Office, it works for Parks and Recs, it works for Schitt's Creek, it works for Modern Family, other shows sometimes need you know what show that nerds hate, but I actually loved? Big Bang Theory. The first like 5-6 seasons of Big Bang Theory I thought were great.
Right.
And to me, I found that
like now you have the sitcoms you have now are The Righteous Gemstones, Space Force, Ted Lasso, currently airing Abbott Elementary, which I heard pretty good things about that.
I haven't seen any of them.
Grownish which is starting to end. The Goldbergs. Again, like
that's good. And what's the other one with Lawrence Fishburne? Blackish.
Blackish.
Yeah. Does that have a laugh track?
I'm trying to remember. I don't think so. Okay. I don't think it has a laugh track.
Okay.
But
here to ruin the party.
But like they have like the current sitcoms now, like they've changed. They've changed the idea of what a sitcom is. But yeah, Michael Schur's, which is is basically the creator of The Office, Parks and Rec, and he's an amazing creator. And I think he is the GOAT. He's the GOAT of sitcoms.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We get it.
Well, I would say the GOAT is Norman Lear, but that's the whole.
Oh yeah. He's also
Jefferson's, All in the Family, Maude. Right. What was the show? Dynamite. What's that show called? Good Times.
Good Times.
All from one person.
I know. I like all. They also are rebooted Wonder Years, but with like a black and it's really with Don Cheadle. It's with John Cheadle, with this one, and Don Cheadle's the narrator, and it's pretty good.
Really? Okay, I know they did like an edgy Christopher Nolan Joker version of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and you said you liked it. It looked really intense.
I liked Bel-Air. It's pretty good. I like it because it's the thing about people.
I was putting Ibrahim in timeout. I meant to click on his comment. I was like, would you like to put him in timeout? I'm like,
people forget that Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was one, it was an accident because Will Smith was never supposed to become an actor. He didn't want to be. But the thing people forget about Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is that it was kind of trying to be based off of Will's life and how he came to LA, but more fictionalized and more like more comedic and dramatized. So the thing about
in the beginning when my mom said it's like an old lady. Like the actual mom's like really pretty, when they actually show her.
And then and also in Bel-Air, it's pretty much the same thing. It's like it's about Will Smith, like the Will Smith we know, and it's a mixture of both of those colliding. And
Will Smith goes to China and basically finds a special mentor teacher that teaches him karate. And for the duration of the entire series, Will learns and becomes the Karate Man. It's an adaptation of the Karate Kid, but starring Will Smith, and of course, Ken Jeong plays Mr. Miyagi. Yeah, Mr. Miyagi.
Mr. Chang.
But yeah, hey guys. I thought I'd do it. I thought if I switched out, nobody would notice. I thought I could just kind of take over the story. And
I was waiting for the conversation to die down, and then I was gonna hit the transition, then bring you in, and boom, you do it.
Well, here's the thing: when I have an hour, I get tired of waiting, so I'll just pull myself. I pull out myself, guys, so you don't have to worry about me pulling out. I'll take
Austin pulls himself off often.
I pull out all the time, except for that one time.
I'm just gonna not.
And that one kid. Anyways, Jack, how's everything going?
It's going. I had a pretty, it's intense. I did an opening talking about what's going on in the world, and I said, look, our job is to take your mind off, and not to you should not ignore what's going on in the world, but for now, these things. Look, for me, I'm give a little speech here. I went through some 2011 to about 2015. My family and we went through some really hard times. What got me through it? Marvel, Man of Steel, TV, film. No matter what our problems were, and baseball, believe it or not, you could sit down as a family, watch a movie, and shut your mind off for about 2.5 hours and forget your problems. I'd like to think that besides compared to other YouTube shows outside of the Point Extra Pantheon, we're not just talking for you to listen to us. We're also trying to entertain you. We're trying to get you to laugh. We're trying to get you to, feel something.
We're trying to give you a cheeky ball tickle.
Yeah, a little ball tickle. Maybe turn you on with one of these GIF backgrounds. Apparently, Enosh went through all of them live on air. Oh my God, where are all these backgrounds Jack has that he's saving to titillate? Wait to see my logo because my guitar finally came. That guitar's got a logo. It's going to be the guitar and the girl. And that's it.
One guitar, one girl. Oh God.
But yeah, no, I totally wasn't.
At that point, I'll be sent back to either the Four Nerds or I have to go back to Ty. Ty, can I get my job back? And
can I get my own slot back?
I just told the story about. Remember when you were live and you didn't have access to StreamYard? You had just joined and Ty fell asleep on air, and you had no way of ending the show.
Yes.
And then you had to call me. You're like, Jack, I need you to get on StreamYard right now and stop the show.
Oh yes.
What you should have done was pull yourself out, and just leave it running for 3 hours, 4 hours.
I should have. But no, I totally. So I just came from another stream. I'm sorry.
Wow, you're cheating on us.
I know. I was cheating on you guys.
RJ, you're the new co-host of Jivin with Jack.
RJ's in the chat of the stream I was just on, actually. But no, I was we had a friend talking about Jimbo's on that stream. I don't know how you guys do this. I don't know how you guys are on streams and are watching them. I've tried, I've attempted, and I just do not have I can't do it. Austin, can you Franco Caden? I have a boyfriend, Jimbo. Unfortunately, so I can't do it. But I'm sure Jack would be more than obliged to Franco Caden for you.
Well, what does that even mean?
Well, you take the tip of a spatula, and then you smack Caden upside the head with it.
Oh, okay, all right. There are a lot of people I'd like to do that too, but with you're close, Tim. You do it. Do it, Jack.
Do it, Jack.
Do it now. But yeah, I don't
for those of you who don't know, I've been dating Timothy Chalamet for the past 3 months. Him and I have had a real strong relationship going. Really
you get a lot
sweet.
of use out of that spatula.
I get a lot of use out of a peach. That's what I get even used to. But
what?
What?
God.
Yeah. Katie, you saw that movie and you know it. Anyways, no, I was just on Max's stream and stuff, and topic of conversation obviously amongst the fandom amongst the community and stuff is the big scooper game, right? You have all the scoopers. Are they right? Are they wrong? And stuff. And I do think some of them, and I think I can say this because
why not just call them rumors instead of scoops? Just say it's a rumor.
That's the thing, because these guys want you to go watch them. And so if you just say we're going to be covering rumors, well, that's boring, right, Jack? Everybody talks about rumors. Oh, the boot!
I love rumors.
He's got the boot. But everyone talks.
My non-existent beer.
Yeah. Everyone talks about rumors and all that. What these guys do is they come in and they go, "Hey, my source is telling me that right now at Warner they have inside information on the merger. All these guys, they're for sure out. Snyderverse for sure restored. Affleck."
I've heard something similar from someone else.
That's the thing, man.
I've heard.
You hear these things, but it's the people. It's the people that are. Hold on, Kanan. It's the people that are going out there and going, "Oh yeah, no, this is fact. This is happening."
Yeah.
They're taking their chat, and when you come at them and you go, "Where's the evidence for this? Where is the even close to conversation?" And sure, we'll give you that right. Maybe we don't have the inside knowledge on if Zaslav and Snyder are having conversations, all of that, blah blah blah. But we do have Affleck going on the last 4 months, talking about how he's done with IPs, how he's done with playing superheroes, how he wants to do more intimate stories and more stories that he directs and that he wants people to see, how he thinks streaming is the way. We're talking article after article, interview after interview of him basically saying, "I don't want to be a part of this anymore." And,
well, you know what?
And now you have a guy going, "Nope, no, the series is happening. All of this, blah blah blah."
That's what you think he would say,
Exactly.
He's an NDA.
Have you been paying attention to Marvel? Ben Affleck doesn't work for Marvel. Ben Affleck doesn't have to act a way that Marvel and DC is not as organized as Marvel to be telling their actors, "Hey, let's try and misdirect them."
I wanted to start with Netflix, but I think this is a good segue.
I'm sorry, Jack. I came in heat.
No, let's start with this. Let's talk about Zack Snyder. He's trending on Twitter, folks. Stay tuned.
So before we get to it, I have a scoop on Zack Snyder.
Get out.
I've heard that in 3 years that Zack Snyder will come back and direct a Nightmare Timeline series for Warner Discovery Max in 3 years when the whole cast comes back.
Well, I wouldn't discount it. I mean, I don't. I wouldn't. Yeah, you and me are talking to the same guy. I'm talking to the same guy too.
Look. There is nothing wrong with hope, dude. I want this stuff to happen. Right. Of course. I love the movies. I want the story to continue. The fact is, it's not right now. And there's no evidence right now showing that there is. In fact, all of the evidence is pointed the opposite way. So again, my issue, right? And this, I guess, comes down to a personal thing because I that's where Max and I disagree. Is like you have people, right, that believe content creators make your content however you want and all of that and stuff and do your thing. To a certain extent, I think that's fine, but I do think as content creators, we have a responsibility to our audience. We have a responsibility to the people that watch us. I take it very seriously. For me, I don't want people to look at me as a liar or as somebody that's wanting to mislead them or as somebody that's wanting to use them for the views. If you don't like me or this show, don't watch it. That is very much our philosophy.
What I think it is, it's that these people are telling people. It's like when you watch Rachel Maddow or Tucker Carlson. They're telling you what you want to hear.
Right.
That's why Overlord DVD is so popular, Doomcock. Because he's telling you what you want to hear. He's like, I've heard rumors that, this is going to happen. And you're like, yeah, screw them. It's sort of like, that's where you get
the thing with me also is that
I forgot what I said. Oh, it's the peach thing.
It's not just about like lying and stuff like that, Like for me, I hate people who lie, especially people who lie for money, and people who lie for clicks and views. And that's what these people are doing. They're not just like lying just to be like, I'm lying for just for fun. No, they're lying for. No one lies for fun. People lie. They're gaining something.
Profit. Yeah,
the thing that they're gaining is views and money. And so people say, "Oh, I'm not there just for their scoops and stuff," but you're still giving them attention. You're still giving, like, you're there, and you give. They see, even though you're not there for their scoops, and you may say that, but all they see is their numbers, and they don't care about you. They say they interact with you in the audiences in super chats, but they don't care. All they care about is the view count on the top right corner or left corner of our screen, and then the super chats that come in. That's all they care about. They don't care about, oh, I can't wait to see this. Yeah, they're happy that you're saying that because they're happy that you're falling for their lies. They're happy that you're like, oh, this gets me giddy inside that they're falling for my lies about haircut happening this year. Well, it ain't happening. It ain't happening.
And there's the issue of this, like you said, Jack, right? It's you're using this situation. You're using a certain group of people that want this to happen, that have hope that it might happen. You're now manipulating them. You're now taking advantage of their situation and how they're feeling and what they want.
Yeah.
And you're using that to your advantage to grow your channel, to gain more popularity, and to do and people like this guy, certain corporations, this guy, he's on a high time right now for sure, because none of this has happened yet, none of this has come true, and the people that are watching and listening to him are taking it as truth, and they're waiting. But when it doesn't happen, when things crash and burn, it's gonna be really ugly. And so that's my issue with it. I think as a YouTuber and as content creators, we should all be on the same mindset of wanting to give our audience good, honest, truthful content. And yeah, that's my whole thing.
Yeah, it is an echo chamber. And it's not just pop culture, it's everything. Everyone always wants to hear what they want to hear.
Yeah.
And when they hear something different, it's not even like, oh, I didn't know that. It's like a shock to their system.
But the thing about hold on. I know exactly what he's talking about because so basically I know the person that we're talking about claimed that they found about the Snyder Cut releasing in November, and people like Casey and people squashed that. But the thing is, Zack himself confirmed that it was not. It was like a month or two before the announcement of the Snyder Cut when he got the call. It was not like until he got the call. That's when it was like officially in talks to happen, and they were figuring out the planning for a month, and they had a month of planning, and then they announced it. So this whole November, I found out in November, is bullshit. It's just that he
happened in
threw
November?
it at the
Something
wall.
happened in November, I think
November was just
Toby Emmerich met with Zack and was like, "Do you want to release it like without the special effects and just release it that way?" Something did happen, and he said no. Zack said no.
Right.
Exactly. They did approach him, and they did ask him
if release it.
Right.
How it is. But look, I'm still rooting for it. And look, so look, he's trending on Twitter right now. And you know what, Austin? I've been thinking about what you've said. Like, this is not the movie that should win the best Oscar, or the Oscar for fan favorite.
If he wins, oh my God,
If he wins, though, I'll be honest with you, this would be the biggest middle finger up the butt of the Academy, because this is not a great movie. But part of me is like, you know what? I would love to see these slimy with their champagne and their movies, and all of a sudden Zack Snyder goes up there talking about the fans. I think part of me would kind of
get Warner Brothers.
I don't know. Because I really could care less about the people at the Oscars. I support the indie movie scene and all that, but part of me is like, you know what? I would love to see Leo over there and Kate Winslet and Meryl Streep just sitting there, just looking at Zack Snyder and I hope he doesn't shave. He just shows up like this in a t-shirt.
Dude, I mean, look,
Army of the Dead.
Here's
these people.
Here's the thing, man. If he wins, I'll be so. I swear, I used to have so much respect for the Oscars. I did. Like, as a wannabe filmmaker, that's kind of the dream, right? Like one day, hopefully, maybe I'll win an Oscar, right? Win an Academy Award. If he wins an Oscar for it, I don't give a shit if I ever win an Oscar.
The other thing is also,
you know what?
I don't give a shit about the ceremony. I don't give it. The prestige of the ceremony is gone for me. The Oscars may as well.
It was gone for me a long time ago.
The Oscars may have well be the MTV Awards if he wins. This is ridiculous. The Army of the Dead is not even close.
For me a long time ago. Like I watch the Oscars not even to enjoy them. I watch them just because I know like I have to watch them because they're the Oscars. The Oscars haven't been about movies for a while. It's about lecturing you. I mean, the fact that they even did this, if you're upset about the possibility that this movie might win, the very fact that they even attempted to do that is to get ratings. They're trying to get
exactly. But this isn't. Hey, this isn't the People's Choice Awards. This is the Oscars. There's an academy. There are memberships. There are things like this. This isn't like no. Please, dear God. And it's a sad day. It's a sad day when the Oscars is recognizing a trash movie like Army of the Dead over a masterpiece like The Harder They Fall. It's a it's a sad day to me. It's a really sad day.
Also, it's not just.
You have to admit, are incredibly politicized. Like
it's not just that.
Who they give the Oscar to? They don't give Saving Private Ryan Best Picture because they already gave Spielberg Best Picture for Schindler's List. They're incredibly politicized. It's incredibly about like who should win and who would win. Like you said, Leo got the Oscar for not a movie that's not his best performance. Not that it's a bad performance. People are in on it, and I think people just don't care about the Oscars. So this is a last-ditch attempt. And if you're going to – I always say this. If you're going to do something wrong, do it the right way. And I think it would be hilarious if Zack Snyder goes up there for arguably his second worst movie of all time, wins an Oscar, and that trends on Twitter. And, like, Meryl Streep's nose starts bleeding. Leo's head explodes.
No, look.
They're doing it themselves. Look, they're asking who's the fan favorite. If the Snyder fans are galvanizing, I'm like, well,
But that's my thing. There should be no fan favorite at the Oscars. This isn't for the fans.
Like,
but here's the thing.
They're doing it. They're not sticking with their guns. They're not
I've always thought, right, there should be a blockbuster category or something that honors that, but not even then, even in that case, you can't have the fans involved. You have to have the Academy be voting on that. You have to have the categories. You have to have the nominees and stuff. This kind of open. You know what's in the lead to win right now, Jack? Amazon's Cinderella.
I haven't seen it. I mean, is it good?
No, it's not good.
I had no interest in seeing it.
But that's my point, man. And look, I understand this statement. Yes, the Oscars have been biased and have been that for years. Okay, when Leo won for The Revenant, everybody was like, he should have won years ago for The Wolf of Wall Street. He does not. So yes, I understand. I completely hear you. There is still, even with all of that, there's still a respect. There's still a prestige to winning an Oscar, to winning an Academy Award. It's still incredibly helpful.
I don't think people feel that way. They don't watch it. It used to be one of the biggest television events of the year, and now it doesn't even beat Monday Night Football.
Scratch the – I'm not talking about the views and stuff. I'm talking about in Hollywood. There was a prestige. There was an honor, of winning an Oscar. This type of stuff starts to happen, that honor, that prestige basically goes away. You no longer have now you're putting Martin Scorsese and Quentin Tarantino in films like Pulp Fiction and Goodfellas and The Godfather in the same category as Army of the Dead.
But you're mentioning movies that are old. I would say that no movies.
Okay, good movies recently, like The House of Gucci, The Last Duel, The Harder They Fall. In the same category as Dune, in the same category as Army of the Dead?
But
come on,
they're
Jack.
doing it I agree. They're not. I said Army of the Dead is probably like his worst movie or his second worst movie. I have mixed feelings about Sucker Punch. I'm like, Zach should not write his own. But I'm saying if they're going to do it wrong, and if they're going to do a fan favorite strictly for the ratings, then you already have, not you, but they have already turned it into the People's Choice Awards or the MTV Movie Awards. They've already done it. They're doing it themselves because they're hoping a few million extra people might watch. We probably might watch it. I'm against it. I'm not for it. I
agree. I'm sorry. That came out at the wrong time because I saw a comment and responded out loud to that. Because no, I agree with you, Jack.
They should do it in the first place.
Look, if Zack Snyder's Justice League wins an Oscar, I'll be even more pissed off.
The thing is, Zack Snyder's
movie from 4 years ago that wasn't released in theaters. It's not like it's not eligible.
So it's not eligible.
Wait, when's it copywritten? Did they copyright it 2021 though? I'm curious if that makes a difference.
No, but it has to be it has to have a 1 week theatrical release for it to be eligible for the Oscars, no matter what. Like,
but no, integrity. You're incredibly right. The Grammys, to me, and to a lot of people that I know in the music industry, same thing, right? I'm not really talking about the general audience here. I'm talking about in Hollywood. A lot of people I know in the music industry could care less if they ever win a Grammy. Yeah. They could honestly not give two shits because that ceremony has lost its respect and prestige. When The Weeknd wasn't nominated like 2 years ago, and that dude had not only the best album of the year, but like the most set dude. That dude had like.
Did he win some Billboard awards for that album?
Yeah,
but no Grammys.
He didn't even get a nomination.
Exactly.
From the Grammy Awards.
There you go. Here's the thing. Integrity got a point here. Who cares about the Oscars? Winning an Oscar does not guarantee you success. A lot of great actors have won Oscars, actresses, and never.
Yeah, for us general audiences, but for Hollywood themselves, it's like
But it's them patting themselves on the back. It's like giving yourself a reach around, almost. Like that's what it feels like.
Sure,
it used to feel like like you were actually acknowledging some of the best movies of the year, and now it just feels like they're patting themselves on the back for being so great. It's like me doing an award called the Jivin with Jack Awards. And then I win every year. It's like Jack's giving himself a award, I want to thank myself and only myself.
I think there's certain
more like me, you'd be better off in your lives, and that's kind of
what makes that though is the people.
We should do that to Jack Awards.
But Jack, what makes that happen is the people, not the ceremony. The ceremony is still. I mean, dude, look at. You still have musical numbers. You still have them trying. So yes, you're right. And it's mainly when people are accepting the awards that they do that. But the ceremony is still there. And that's what I'm trying to say is that, again, not amongst the general audiences, but when when you lose that prestige, like I said, dude, winning an Oscar has helped so many people's careers after they win them. It's giving them it's not only giving them more options and more stake to be able to choose what they want to do. It gives them more of a standing to, if they're a director, to direct what they really want to direct and do, not have that studio interference. There is that prestige that comes with the Oscar. And so once you give it to something like Army of the Dead, I'm sorry, that prestige, it goes away.
The thought of it makes me laugh, but hold on real quick. Dork Knight says, it was you would think that the Marvel fans would be out voting Army of the Dead, but the fact that Army of the Dead might win an Oscar, not Watchmen, even if Watchmen had won I don't know, best visual effects or something like that, not 300, which actually was a movie that changed how film is made. No, it's going to be Army of the Dead. I was like, my thing is to the Oscars or the Academy, you asked for it and you're doing it to yourselves. If that movie wins. A couple of years ago, Suicide Squad, because there was a huge fan base for that 2016 film.
By the way, I
just had one fan favorite.
Can I also say something? If you're a content creator, you should probably do your research as well, because I got into it with a pretty known content creator. Again, a certain incorporation, if you will. But, he was trying to defend that. How can Zack Snyder's Justice League not be nominated for an Oscar, but Don't Look Up can be? Well, let me tell you a couple things. Number one, there is a time frame usually that the Oscars looks at. of release dates that they are very specific about. Yes, the whole year is eligible, but they are looking at the fall season of mainly for their movies. Number 2, Don't Look Up released theatrically in LA and New York for 2 weeks, limited. And this guy had the nerve to come back at me and tell me no, it didn't. No, like, that's what made it eligible. Oh yeah. He's good.
Oh, God.
But I did also
interrupted me.
you're good. I wanted to bring this up as well because I thought that because I care about this as well. Look, again, as a filmmaker, that's why I watch the Oscars. There's that prestige. There's that want of like, dude, this is the highest honor you can get in that realm and stuff. And so I was pretty disappointed. They took out best editing. They're not going to announce best editing, score, best sound, best score,
best sound design,
and all that.
It's like even though like so like it was just like
but what's the point? What does that have to do with anything?
Well, I think the point he says that sometimes it's not the best person who wins. It's about look, Ricky Gervais jokes about it with the Foreign Press Association that like deals are made, bets are made, conversation like they nominate The Martian for best comedy because they wanted Matt Damon to be there, and I'm pretty sure the Academy does the same thing. I'm just saying that.
Well, the thing about the Academy,
the Academy used to have 20 years ago or even 15 years ago. I think that's gone. I think, and I said this, that there's a disconnect between the movies that are coming out and what's connecting with people. And the Oscars are like the problem is with the people, and I'm saying maybe it's a problem with some of the films that are.
Well, the problem with the Academy is that like with the best director, best movie, best picture and best director, it's the DGA and that's voting on who gets nominated because of the for you consideration that's going on that they get the screeners and stuff. And the thing is with the DGA is that the board for DGA is full of like old people. It's old people. It's not new directors coming in as well.
That's why Steven Spielberg got a nomination for West Side Story this year.
Exactly. And so it's not like these newcomer and directors that have like you won't see a Ryan Coogler or Nia DaCosta in there for another 10, 15 years. They won't.
That's a shame.
And it's a shame because they should
that
be.
Candyman movie was really good. I'm sorry, that was art house horror. It was great.
So nobody's saying that this isn't true, right? But there's there's still that prestige. Guess what? When Joaquin Phoenix still wins an Oscar for the Joker, that's still there's still a lot that comes with that.
I'm going to hit on this because I think Aaron says, and I said this on Tuesday's show, that a lot of times when they give a speech, there's a very holy. Remember that South Park episode where everyone's in love with the smell of their own farts? Kind of aura about it. Like you go back to Sally Field, you love me, you really love me. You talk about Adrian Brody winning and kissing Halle Berry on the lips. There was something different about people. Cuba Gooding Jr. winning, that speech. He's just so excited, jumping up and down. Like now it's like, let me take some time out of my day to tell you, plebes, what you're doing wrong with your life. And I'm going to spend the next few minutes, and everyone will start clapping and crying, and the media will be like, "This is one of the greatest speeches ever." It's like that Greta Thunberg speech. How dare you? You have taken my life. That's the girl who's talking about climate change.
I don't know. I don't think it gets that. Like the only one that I can honestly think of in the last few years was Joaquin.
Oh my God! No, his was the worst. Because like everyone was like looking at the audience like they're watching Martin Luther King on the steps of the Capitol building. Like, wow.
Well.
Wow, and I'm like, and people tune out. They're like, ugh. Like that's not what they're worried about. They're not worried about. And look, I don't think these Hollywood actors actually care about these issues. Their agents say like, look, this is in right now. Climate change is in, or the Me Too movement is in. And then when someone like Ricky Gervais comes out and kind of points the mirror, like, dude, you guys are the problem with this world. Like I think people just and this whole thing with the fan favorite is their way of saying, oh no. We like you too. We like the average person. Why don't you vote for your average movie, get an Oscar so we can get some better ratings and, make some money off of this. And so they're doing it to themselves. I think this is a terrible idea.
The thing is,
they're doing it. So
the Oscars have never really been for the general audience. They've always been for the actors and for, people like me that like films a lot, that like, movies and maybe want to be a movie maker someday. Like That's who the Oscars is for. Now the Oscars is starting to cater to everybody. That's where I think the issue is.
Well,
the Oscars isn't for everybody.
But here's the thing, not necessarily, because if you go back and watch the ratings for it was a big event. It wasn't as big as, like, say, the Super Bowl, but it would have like 20, 25 million Americans, which is a huge audience watching it, and people in England to watch. I think these days, especially,
but also there wasn't that, especially back then, there wasn't that much to watch. There wasn't that many award shows that saturated it. Yeah. Dude, I'll be honest, the general audience probably cares more about the People's Choice Awards than the Oscars.
Yo, I used to love the MTV Video Music Awards when I was a kid.
Or the MTV Movie Awards. I'll be honest. The general audience probably cares more about that than the Oscars, and that's what I'm saying. That's where I don't think it's necessarily an issue with the Oscars. Because I want to see the best editor. I want to see the best score. I want to see those guys get their appreciation, have their day, say their due.
Integrity start making well thought out statements. I'm glad you're here, Integrity. But for the longest time, for like every episode, it was like Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 is inevitable. You heard it here first, and he would leave. Here's the thing. I think people are aware, and look, a lot of the stories coming about a lot of celebrities. And the celebrities, like the R. Kelly thing, it's like all these people are like, we saw R. Kelly doing these terrible things in 1995. And the audience is like, well, why didn't you do anything about it? It's opened up a nerve, including Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby, now Hugh Hefner, that this is, we always kind of assumed it's a dirty industry, but it's a really dirty industry. And when Hollywood, for example, hijacked the Me Too movement, I'm like, they should not be the ones talking about this issue. Like, if you think that, like, that stuff has stopped in Hollywood, you're dead wrong. And it's a filthy organization. And I'm not to say I can't enjoy the movies, Look, Tarantino has a weird foot fetish, so, like, he's off. But, like, I don't think people look at Hollywood the way they used to maybe 15, 20 years ago. They don't look at them. I mean, yeah, you have your society that worships celebrities. But then I think the general audiences are just kind of tuned out from that. Like, it's not on their radar anymore. And so they're like, oh, let's give Spider-Man an Oscar, and then all of a sudden
and again, yes, right? Again, the vets for the industry and all that. And the show part, and this is where I think like the Oscars start to really go off, is they stopped making a show of it. They stopped making it entertaining for the general audience, for the people who don't care about best sound editing and stuff. Like we talked about it a little bit last time, right? Hugh Jackman used to have some great bits. They had Neil Patrick Harris host once. Seth MacFarlane had some great, like they were big, and they don't do now. They don't even have a host, or except this year now they have 3 hosts and stuff. But for a while they didn't have a host.
Schumer.
Like there is, it's been a mess.
Kate doesn't like Amy Schumer. I thought Kate would be a huge Amy Schumer fan.
No, she steals jokes. I wonder what joke she's gonna steal again for the Oscars.
I've never liked her. Well, I liked her as a roaster. Like when she did the roast, she was hilarious. But
I like that movie she did, the Trainwreck.
Was John Cena on that one?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that, but
Bill Hader and LeBron James.
Yeah. But like, we'll see how the Oscars do this year. I'm
looking forward to Wanda Sykes and Regina Hall, but
but her, and Regina Hall. I didn't know she was, the scary movie, man.
I love her. She's great.
If the Oscars won't get Kevin Feige, he will give them a lot of views. But see, they don't want to be that either. Nor should they become that. Nor should they become like Marvel. Was just to get some people to pay attention to the very long post. I mean, I've always had lots of opinions. Keely Chow says, "Hey everybody," and so we say, "Hi Keely." Hi Keely. Even I'm sick of the Snyder stuff. Well, technically, that's the topic we're on. What's going on? Talk about the Oscars and Zack Snyder.
This is a good question. What are you guys' views on the SAG Awards? Like, especially because the SAG Awards the SAG Awards, like the thing with the SAG Awards is it's actual honesty with.
Well, and those are the SAG Awards. The beauty of the SAG Awards, right? Is it's the actors voting for them.
Right.
Voting.
I also liked the Critics' Choice Award back in the day. Critics' Choice Awards, I didn't mind either.
Right. That's the thing with
and I love you, Saggy. I love you.
I love you. But that's the thing with SAG Awards. It's an honest award show, unlike the Oscars and.
Hey, Keely watches World Class Bullshitters. Sorry, I just saw that. I actually watched that too a little bit, even though I don't agree with him on everything. Sorry, didn't mean to. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I liked the SAG Awards and stuff. I like the SAG Awards. I watch them. I watch the Independent Spirit Awards. I watch
The Tony Awards.
I do watch the Tonys. I love the Tonys. Broadway. I don't think there'll probably be a Tonys this year, considering Broadway's been closed. But
Yeah.
It's probably because you scream my name like you do every night. Wait, what? So anyways, moving on.
Welcome to Jivin' with Jack, folks.
Welcome to Jivin' with Jack. No, she knows. But actors voting for each other.
Saggy should do her own list of like movies she thinks should win and call them the Saggy Awards.
I would love to get an award from Saggy. I don't know what it would be, but I would love to get an award from the Saggy.
Wait, hold on, real quick. Keely says, "Smash Justin Trudeau," as in smash him or smash Justin.
It's a good-looking man. It's a good-looking leader right there.
Here's a theory that he's Castro's son, and I think I believe it, dude.
Oh my god!
There's also a theory that Ted. There's also a theory that
your eyes. She wrote this about Castro. I look into your eyes.
Yeah,
and I get lost.
There's also a theory Ted Cruz is the Zodiac killer, Jack. So
no, but
there you go.
His parents knew Castro really well. His mother wrote a letter to Fidel Castro, and they look exactly the same. Look at a young Castro and a young Trudeau. It's like, I mean, who writes about another guy like, I look into your eyes and I get lost. I'm like, I'm just saying.
I get lost in your eyes, Jack.
Yeah. I don't mean that your baby's going to be my baby.
Whoa.
Well, I'm just saying, though, he actually did meet with him a lot. They knew each other. They're all friends. I'm just saying.
That is what I like to call Smash 18 support of SAG.
No, I'm looking at a picture. They don't look alike at all. I don't know what you're talking about, Jack.
Go, Keely. It's your birthday.
I kind of agree, Abraham, is that, like I said, the Oscars for me has always been that, look, this is the high prestige. We're talking the editing and all that stuff. That's what I liked about it. And it wasn't, yes, it appealed to the general audience. You had comedians host Billy Crystal and Chris Rock and all these other guys and stuff. But, I think at the end of the day, it's really for those kind of diehard film fans.
I disagree with you because the Oscars have been on. I mean, they've been happening for nearly 100 years, but on TV since the 60s. And, it's only the last, I would say, 8 years, I think, post-King's Speech, post-Lincoln, that, people have been just slowly tuning out. General audiences, even if they hadn't watched it. I remember a time, when Oscar season came around and I was in grade school, everyone was like, oh, you got to go see The English Patient. You got to go see these movies. And people would go on the weekends. Parents would go out and see these movies because there was Oscar buzz. Nowadays, if a movie has Oscar buzz, I think people don't care. It's not that the movie's good or bad. It's just that they're like, And I don't blame them. I think they're just – people are on a different – Hollywood used to reflect society back in itself. That's what the 70s were about. That's what the 80s were about, the 90s, the 60s. It was reflecting. And now Hollywood seems to want to reflect Bill Maher did a new rule about this. It's really not to reflect society back to itself. It's like, this is what's wrong with society, and this is what you can do to make it better, and it's your fault. Like that type of remember when I said I remember I did an impression. I don't even know if Austin was on the show. Yeah, Austin was here. I said there's a good way to give advice, and Hollywood used to do that really well with filmmaking. So this is what I'm going to pick on. I'll pick on Austin because Caden's young. I'll be like, hey, Austin, man, you've gained a lot of weight. My suggestion, no, he hasn't, by the way. He's skinny. I suggest you maybe eat some healthier foods. If you need help, I can tell you. That's one way. But modern Hollywood seems to be like, oh, you're always eating Cheetos. I don't like Cheetos. They're bad for you. That's why I have my personal chef make me a gluten-free meal every day. Perhaps if you did that, you'd be skinny too. It's the same message, which is get healthier. But Hollywood used to reflect it better. Now it seems to lecture you with the movies, and I think that's what people are just like, I get lectured enough.
Yes, some movies and stuff. I agree. Some movies and stuff, yes, have become very, But at the same time, there are a lot of movies on there in the last couple of years too that aren't, and that are, and a lot of movies too that don't get, like I said, that don't get recognized and stuff. But I don't know. I mean, I think it just depends. Obviously,
Aaron, my girl. Sorry. She just brought up the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards. I used to watch.
Oh yeah, dude, people get slimed. That was the best.
Oh,
Watching Jack Black get slimed and stuff, and Jack Black would always do something silly or.
Dude, I remember when they had Puff Daddy on, and they had to edit. They edited the songs to make it more like back when he was cool. Hey, Rhea's here. Rhea on Jivin with Jack, just so I can say and welcome Rhea.
Oh my gosh.
So fun to say. Even if she stops by for 2 minutes, I'll be like, Rhea's here.
Right. But no, I mean, I kind of agree at the same time. I've always liked the Oscars because they give me awareness to films that maybe I hadn't seen before. I know you dislike Nomadland. I loved it.
God. See, that, they did that to mess with us.
No, that was a great movie. I love it.
Movie.
And but same with Parasite, right? In that a lot of people don't watch a lot of foreign films and stuff. That was the beauty of that movie, winning some.
I still have to see that.
Oscars.
I like Korean dramas. I just have to sit down and watch.
It's on Hulu, man. It's on Hulu. But
Hulu kind of gets overlooked. That's a great streaming service.
You know what? We just watched on Hulu. They put The Kingsman on Hulu.
yeah, I like
The
that.
original one.
No,
Oh, yeah,
the new one.
The prequel, the new one that just came out.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
it's really good. Oh my god,
It was pretty good. It was pretty good.
it's so good.
Well, what's up, Dark Star? Thank you for tuning in. Much appreciated. Also, while we have 22 people here in the chat, thank you so much for tuning in, watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Check out the channel, all the different shows and things that we have going on here. Obviously, it's a good time. We try and give you some diversity and some different takes and some different opinions and stuff. But obviously, you have me and Jax, which are the hottest. So
Yeah. I want this show to be the hottest show on the Pantheon. I mean, I don't mean that in a negative way. I don't want the other shows to do bad. I want this show, like, it's a goal. I want this show to be the show that people watch. I want this to be the SmackDown of the 2000s. So, like, back in the day, Raw was the A show and SmackDown was the other show. Then at some point, SmackDown became better than Raw. I want us to be SmackDown. And we're on Thursdays, which is when SmackDown used to be on. Hey, everyone. Rhea, I love Rhea's. She has a very positive energy. Like, she says hi to everyone.
Ray is awesome. She's the best.
Okay, let's we talked DC. Let's talk a little bit Marvel. You guys ready?
let's do it.
Talk about Marvel. I'm excited because the Netflix Marvel shows are going to Disney Plus.
Well, no, wait. Okay, sorry to break your spirits, Jack. It's going to Disney Plus in Canada, not in the U.S.
Yes,
I'm sorry. Say what?
Canada. Oh, Canada.
It's in Canada, not in the U.S. The U.S. is going to go to Hulu.
Yes, well, if you saw my intro case when I said in Canada, and I also said,
oh, I'm sorry.
And I wrote in the description, guys. Check the description.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I was ahead of the curve. Okay, this is kind of a good sign. But, like, do you think Disney Plus, if it ever comes to America, would let this scene play out on Disney Plus? And you guys know what I'm talking about. The bed broke.
The bed broke? That's amazing for them.
Season 1, because you have two superpowered beings smashing, not in the way that Keely's talking about, but in the good way, smashing so hard that the bed started to break because they're so powerful. And you know, you
saw that in a recent season of Titans. I don't know why I brought that up. Anyways,
Titans is on HBO though. Like, HBO
I know. I was just like, it was just like funny how they did it, and it was just weird. But it's whatever with that.
I haven't gone. Once Austin told me season 3 of Titans sucked, but look, it's coming to Netflix, at least in Canada.
Right, and I'm just gonna say this real quick before we even move on here. Have your opinions, man. Resident Justice is a friend of this channel and Max's channel. I'm not gonna stand for any shit being talked about in the chat.
I'm with you, Dark.
So I'll give you the one chance and stuff. I don't want to see anything else about it again. Or, Just saying that right now. He's a friend of this channel and this show. He's also a friend of Max's. You don't like him, you can keep it to yourself. Anyways.
Yeah, you know what? I don't like RJ.
Hi.
I'm just gonna say I thought that was a little intense. He just said whiny like a little kid. I thought he used the N-word or something. I'm like, you'd be like, oh damn, what happened?
No, I'm just letting him know. I'm not standing for it.
Scipio, you can come after me. More specifically,
go after Jack.
Come after Austin. You
or me.
Figure it out. He'll unblock you. He'll block you, and then I'll unblock you. He'll be like, why is he not being blocked? I'll be sitting there going, but Scipio, Scipio africanus. That's
It starts CPO.
Yeah, but
it's pronounced Scipio.
There was Scipio Africanus. Sorry, my Roman.
Yeah,
Scipio Africanus. He was a general. See, yeah, Scipio Africanus.
You're on something, Jack.
The Second Punic War. Yes, I remember learning about that.
You're just like,
I
you're
really
on
got
something.
into Roman history when I was like 14 years old. I got really into. I saw Darth Scipio, and I see Roman busts. I'm like, this is Scipio. Welcome. And here's the thing. Don't tell anyone else this, but RJ might be replacing Austin in the next few weeks. So
it's true.
Go after
John Campion, damn it. Hey, thank you, Max. I was just over on his show right before jumping over on here, so make sure and check him out. But,
yeah. What did Max say that upset him? Like, was it And by the way, he is a kid, isn't he? He's young.
Who? RJ? No, he's a man.
Huh? He's a man.
I have an issue, right? Like if you're over 18, you're not a kid. I'm not a kid. He's a
dude.
He's a grown man.
You guys are kids, is what I mean to say. He sounds
so young. So what? You're an old man?
Yeah, I'm the man.
I'm an old man.
Although arguably back on Pop Culture Corner, like out of all of us, even though I was the oldest, I was arguably like the most immature. With that background, Austin picked the Judas Priest one because it's like the least offensive.
Right.
How do I say that? Is it JB Jamie or is it Jaime? Like
it's Jaime. Oh wait. I thought you were talking about Jaime Reyes. I would say.
No, but is it James or is it like?
I think it's James. It's James, I think.
As long as someone else is paying your bills, you're still a kid. I don't look at it that way. Like, I pay my bills, but like when it comes to my parents, I'm still their kid. So anytime, look, if you got parents, you're still a kid. Which is why anytime a hostage situation set and they say women and children, I'm like, look, my parents are alive, so I'm going out with the women and children.
I agree. Women and children first. Always women and children.
Women and children. It was James. Okay. Trash food saggy. Can I be permanently banned here? I'm asking Jarbo. I don't want to relapse and follow him anymore, dude. I'm against banning. Like, we probably put Scipio in timeout. Scipio, I'd bring it back ASAP just to mess with Austin. But yeah, keep it. You don't have to. Here's the thing: if you attack me or Austin or Caden, don't be on Caden. Like, that's different. We can retort. We can say something back.
Right.
But if you're attacking someone who's on another show and not even in the chats, or like not even attacking, like if you have something to say to them, you should say it over there. Now, if RJ were on the show and you said that to RJ, then I would say, RJ, you can respond or, whatever. But, yes, he was a great Roman general. Yes, thank you. I learned so much about that. Yeah, Austin, yeah. He was like Scipio.
I thought it was Scipio. I don't say because I think I heard other people refer to him.
Scipio. Yeah, son. So, yeah, let's talk real quick about Netflix real quick. I hope they put it on Hulu because, look, I don't think it would work if on American Disney Plus, foreign is different. They have Disney Star there. You would have an option with R-rated content. Look, Daredevil is probably the least worst because it's only violence and they don't even drop F-bombs. But like Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, there's a lot of gratuitous sex and God bless them. Iron Fist for season 2. No, it's good. I mean, you have a big, handsome black guy. You think women are not going to bang him? He's like, would you like some coffee? You know what he means. Like, I don't think that would work on Disney Plus. You can't have like Encanto over here and then Jessica Jones breaking beds over there. I put it on Hulu. I'm fine with that. Disney owns, now that they own Fox, owns a big share of Hulu. Keep those shows R-rated. You don't have to worry about it, but like some dumb kid is going to figure out against the parental controls, watch Iron Fist season 2 and watch some boinking going on. and he's going to be, Luke Cage deals with some heavy racial issues. There's certain words that are used to address that issue. Some kids going to start using because they watch it on Disney Plus. Put it on Hulu. When it comes to the United States, when it comes to the United States,
Luke
put it on
Cage
Hulu.
showrunner, he was like, if it's like I think he responded to the whole rumor about it going to Disney Plus. He's like, if they were to put on Disney Plus, what would they like? They'll have to censor basically half the episode, every single.
Let me address this metaverse. Hulu already has content. Remember, it's called Disney Plus. They got the Disney name right on there. I'm surprised they put Family Guy is Family Guy on there? I think Simpsons.
Family Guy is on Hulu, but Simpsons is on.
It's on Hulu. Yeah, exactly. Because Family Guy does push the envelope for a network television show. Because it's Disney. Your Marvel shows. You compare one episode of Hawkeye to one episode of Luke Cage season 1. It's like apples and oranges in terms of the content. They're dealing with real issues. That's why I give props to Netflix.
They will by the end of April.
Yeah.
Because that's when Comcast's contract is up.
Okay. By the way, Luke Cage handled race way better than Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm just going to drop it right there. It was an honest show. It was so much more blunt. It made Harlem feel like its own town. Remember, Harlem is just a section of Manhattan. It's above Hell's Kitchen. It's above Washington Heights, and it made it feel like here's this section of New York City that has its own sound, its own look, its own culture, its own people. Marvel Disney doesn't want to do that, so give it to Hulu. Let Hulu continue Luke Cage, continue Jessica Jones, and do it better. Learn from their mistakes. Let them do Daredevil. Let them do Punisher. And please do not let Disney Plus touch the Punisher. He'll become the publisher. He doesn't kill his enemies; he saves them by reading to them from Ta-Nehisi.
I think with the Punisher, they're gonna do one of two things. What they're gonna do is they're going.
Real quick, let me say yes, that's true, but Hulu doesn't have the name Disney Plus. Hulu already has R-rated content, like right off the bat. They have severe R-rated content on there, so it's like if it's on Hulu, like parents are kind of dumb. Not my parents, but other parents. They're like, oh, it's on Disney Plus. Like, they're not into this stuff the way you and I are.
Right.
They're like, oh, there's a Daredevil show. I saw that Ben Affleck movie. Click. Put it on for a Sonny boy. Hey, little Jimmy, watch Daredevil. And you see boom. Mommy, why does Luke Cage always take his clothes off with women after he takes them out for coffee? What are you watching? And then they're going to write like Disney and then Disney. I'm saying this stuff happens. So avoid all that. Put it on Hulu. You bought Hulu. You spent the money. Put Runaways. Put some of the edgier stuff on Hulu. Let the Punisher be the Punisher. Let Daredevil have blood trickling out of his mouth when he's fighting Bullseye. Let Wilson Fisk tear people's heads off with doors. Please don't put it on Disney Plus, where Daredevil is going to give a speech like Danny Tanner at the end of Full House. You see, guys, you need to do better.
Why are you saying Snake Eyes? Why are you bringing Snake Eyes?
You guys.
I was like, Snake Eyes. Why are you bringing Snake Eyes into this? But yeah, I think with Punisher, were
Daredevil. Remember in the first episode. Daredevil's probably the one you could probably neuter the most. Like you can get rid of the blood and still have it be a good show.
I mean, you can in the first emphasize the violence with a lot of bruising, like the
Dark Knight or whatever the Batman's going to be like. But here's the thing, in terms of content, in the first episode of Daredevil, women are being shipped off as sex slaves. Remember, they got him in a container and he saves them. Even that is kind of edgy. Disney Marvel's not going to want to touch that. There's a lot of stories about the Punisher where he stopped sex slave trades. They're not going to put down Disney Plus. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I will say this is that Kevin Feige did recently say that the Moon Knight show will be pushing the envelope that they haven't pushed before.
For a Disney Plus show.
But I think with Disney Plus show, the most violent Disney Plus show we've had was Falcon and the Soldier when John Walker decapitated that dude.
Yeah.
That was the most violent thing we've seen on Disney Plus.
That's the most violent thing you've seen, or maybe Star Wars you'll see
right.
They sanitize
but thing with Star Wars, the thing with Star Wars, they never get crazy violent. You'll never see crazy blood or anything.
I don't know how Moon Knight's going to turn out real quick. It might be dark in terms of pushing.
Thematic. I think with thematic wise, it'll be also dark, but I think with some aspects as we see in one of the trailers is he's pounding on that that creature, you know.
Yeah.
He's like pounding on him, and we see like the whole bathroom just
Pounding on
destroyed.
No, but what I'm saying is like,
but like I think,
you know how in like Batman vs Superman, there's that warehouse scene, and just once you were Batman pounding someone, you see blood shooting back up.
And also when he throws the crate at someone, you see his head smash on the wall, and you see a big blood spot, you know. But I think
exactly, Ibrahim, tell that to Metaverse. That's what I'm saying. Disney's whole thing is that we're family friendly, and for the sake of 4 or 5 shows that they didn't even make, I don't think they're going to do that in the U.S. At least in the U.S., they're not going to put it up there, even if it's like in a separate section, like they do Disney Plus Star or Disney Plus Dark, because the word Disney, they don't want that word Disney associated with, you know.
Well,
remember the one guy, Daredevil, finds Wilson Fisk's name and he just impales himself by putting his head through a spike. They're not going to. I
think. Well, the thing about Disney Plus Star is that, you know, that they're like, the thing about Disney Plus Star is that with the shows going to Disney Plus Star in Canada and internationally, they're already branding this stuff with Disney and Marvel. So I think they're not going to have a problem with it. I think what the problem is that they're going to have, of course, some backlash from the families that are very conservative about this stuff. You know, they're like, exactly. But I don't think Disney and Kevin Feige have a problem with it. I think they just are worried about the audience. Like they'll be like, if the audience wasn't worried, I'm sure we would have had some violent MCU movies and MCU projects. I think it's just like I'm sure Kevin Feige wants to do that. I'm sure I'm sure Bob Iger
don't want to hurt your market share, and your market share is general audiences and children. Children cost a ticket for a child is maybe $1 cheaper. They don't want to lose that market just for a couple of violent TV shows. The Punisher in the TV show is way nicer than he is in the comics. I'll say that.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, he's actually nice in the show. Like he cares about a little girl. You know, he cares about Michael's family.
The crazy thing is that like I've read a couple of Punisher comics, and the one that I've read were like some of his most violent ones. Even I think it was even after Marvel Max was done. I read for Marvel brand, it was pretty violent. And when I watched the show, I was like, oh, what? This is like really soft.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the one with a character named Nikki Cavella?
I think so.
And Nikki Cavella, basically, to draw the Punisher out, digs up Frank Castle's family on a video cam and then pees on them.
Yep, I did
and that. And then do you know what happened with how Nikki Cavella was raised by his aunt and what she did to him? I saw that panel when I was like 15. I'm like, whoa!
That was like
a young boy, and but again, that type of stuff happens. Like you don't want to see that on Disney Plus.
No, like the thing is, like with Disney, I think with like obviously now they have 20th Century Studios or 21st Century. I forget how you pronounce their thing, whatever. And with that label, you can label. Obviously, I think Deadpool 3 is gonna be under that label still. Yeah. I think with some of the X-Men movies, it's gonna be under that label, so you can get away with because it's not gonna be under the full-on Disney brand. You're still gonna have that 21st Century Studios as the brand, and then you can get away with that stuff. So I think that what they can do is to get away with all the violent stuff is just brand it as a 20th Century Studio TV.
Marvel Knights. Remember, there used to be a comic. It was called Marvel Knights. It wasn't Max, but like. It was dealing with all the darker stuff, you know. I'm like,
it was like this, and so like I think, especially with all this supernatural stuff coming up, and I know like that again. Like,
and one thing I liked about the Punisher was the only show that didn't have any supernatural stuff. Like they kept that in Daredevil, Iron Fist.
Well, honestly, the crazy thing about Punisher is that he like the thing is like he like in the beginning of his his run. He never dealt with supernatural, and I think in the middle, like when they're introducing the Howling Commandos, Nick Fury's Howling Commandos, they started having at least Punisher be involved because they need at least a human for people to connect with, you know.
So here's the problem with that, and this connects with this. Here we go. If they have the Punisher interact with the Avengers or any of those characters, then you know little kids are going to want to see the Punisher. So it might be better just to keep them in the Defenders universe. I mean, obviously, Daredevil, fine. But, like, let's say the Punisher shows up in a limited, let's say, an episode of Hawkeye or something, right?
Right.
Like, then kids are going to be like, oh, there's a Punisher show. Kids will find this stuff out themselves, and they're going to want to watch that show. And mom's like, oh, it's a Marvel show. Click, put it on, and like, oh, like him, like,
massacring like a whole room of like.
So I'm actually saying keep them in their own universe, like keep them in the MCU, but keep them in their own little universe where they're dealing with, there's an episode where Jessica Jones's best friend gets an abortion. They're not going to put that on Disney Plus. Keep that on Hulu. It's the same universe. You can address Thanos. You can address.
I think with that stuff is like you can have them be street level on their own side of the universe, but there's gonna be. But the thing is also is that then you're gonna have the people who watch that stuff who's expecting that stuff to connect to the bigger overall story, and when that doesn't happen, then they'll be like, oh, so what's my point of watching this stuff? So I think what they're gonna do
the show should stand on its own legs. I don't think you. So that's the way it is with Disney Plus shows. Like even if they're bad, like this is.
They still like the thing about
Punisher should stand on its own. Jessica Jones should stand on her own, and that's what Netflix did. Netflix was like, nope, these shows stand on their own. Yeah, they're set in the same universe, but they're standing on their own. The threat that Daredevil has to face is saving Hell's Kitchen from a power-hungry monster. Jessica Jones has to deal with people who can't afford to pay and. Has to deal with like psychopaths.
Purple Man was just the thing about David Tennant's Purple Man was just so maniacal and so good. Like, I want David Tennant to come back as Purple Man.
Yeah, I mean he'd be great. I mean, but like his whole thing was about control over women. Like they're dealing with some deep stuff there. They're not going to put that on a WandaVision level or a Hawkeye level, but I'm afraid they might. That's what I'm worried about.
Well, I honestly think that Falcon Winter Soldier and now upcoming Moon Knight is going to help evolve the audience to like the audience that isn't privy to these shows and to the extent of the ratings of these shows to be privy to some of these shows, to at least get, welcomed and comfortable with the idea of some blood and some violent language, not like all the time, but it's like, it's going to be like, and I think that's what I'm excited about the whole thing about the 21st century brand being used for Deadpool and X-Men and the mature stuff is because it lets Disney off a little, It's like it lets them off their shoulders,
but connected. Like, you ever watch like Star Trek: The Next Generation and Deep Space Nine were kind of on for a couple of years for the same time. They only had one crossover episode.
And the thing is,
Space Nine is over there. Right. The Enterprise is over there. They're having their own adventures in the same universe. I don't think that crossovers should be used as they're like, oh, we have to see the Punisher team up with Iron Man or something, or Ironheart. Or
Joe Russo said something great. It was either Joe or Anthony. One that said that the multiverse stuff and crossovers in general is becoming an overused like idea and concept that I think that they.
What did I say about cameos? I'm worried that the cameos are going to be like a crutch for storytelling.
And the thing is, like, I agree that like multiverse, like, is I think with like it all depends on the storytelling, because you can use multiverse any way possible, but it has to be good storytelling. Because right now, what it seems for Marvel, it seems like it's for like No Way Home, it's good storytelling. And what we've seen so far in Doctor Strange 2, it looks like it's gonna be good storytelling. But from what we've been hearing about the Flash, like going back to this whole multiverse stuff, the Flash, it seems like they're using like some of aspects of the multiverse as a cheapstake to like get rid of things, like even though like I don't fully believe all that stuff, I still believe some of it. Where to the point where I think it's a cheapstake of like not having this of like still like another thing is like my thing about it is also looking at the set photos and everything for Batgirl and bringing back Keaton's Batman. And I love Keaton's Batman. I can't wait to see him in The Flash, and I can't wait to see him in Batgirl. It's just the thing is like there is like, don't get me wrong, like I am excited and I want them to, and I can't wait to see Keaton. I think want
Flash
Keaton
might
to
be
back.
better than anything else. It has the potential to be even better than Doctor Strange if they do it right. If
they do it right, but I think and I think is what the thing is. It's that I hope and pray that they don't use Michael Keaton as a way to, to also erase some of his history,
Yeah.
because his history is very integral to why he is and what we've seen. Like, it's just like, and also what's funny is that Doctor Strange 2 and The Flash are both directed by horror directors.
Yeah.
And James Muschietti and Sam Raimi they have very similar horror aspects. But
I said it has the potential to be a better movie. I don't think it'll make more money, but it has the potential. I said it has
it does.
Right.
Both of those movies have the potential to beat each other in some shape or form.
Yeah.
I think with The Flash, The Flash is one of those things where it's a movie that's going to change the whole universe and moving forward. But Doctor Strange 2, it's just for a saga. It's not for the whole universe to be changed. It's not for now. Not for now. It's just a medium-sized event for this group of heroes, this side of the heroes of the multiverse and stuff. But it will soon bleed into the whole fold of the MCU. Not yet, though. But with the Flash, it's that the Flash is going to bleed all over the DCU. It's going to bleed all over.
I don't know where the hell Austin is.
And well, the thing is, it's not the thing about the Flash. It's not a Barry Allen origin story. We don't need a retelling of Barry Allen's origin story, especially we're already in, because that's the thing. Like with the Flash TV show, and then introduction of the Flash in BVS and in both versions of Justice League, you've already kind of like the thing is, like, we saw the origin for Wonder Woman. We saw the origin. Like, the crazy thing is, like, people are like, oh, we need an origin movie Cyborg. We don't.
You really don't. Sure,
because we saw the origin. We saw the origin and we saw the origin in Justice League. So if anything, if the Cyborg movie is gonna be anything, I think I saw him talk about, like, it was about it's Cyborg versus the
I think basically we might get like a quick opening montage similar to BVS, where it shows the death of his mother and his father going to jail.
Well,
like, that's all you need to, and then
I think because the whole Flash movie is it's taking the concept of Flashpoint, that when Barry Allen goes back in time to save his mother from being killed, and
which means they're gonna have to show the origin at some point. It may not be 40 minutes like a Marvel movie, like does like an hour to get to that point. They're flashbacks like the original Michael Keaton Batman movie. They just showed the death of his parents, a 5-minute scene. Or 3 minute
the thing is also is that
that was it. You're like, yep, I got the dots. His parents are killed. He became a vigilante.
Right.
I'm here.
Right. So, and that's the difference between. That's also like the other thing is, like, what kind of makes me mad is the whole is that the first Flash movie is a multiverse. Like, it's not. Like, I'll be fine if they had one movie where it's like a small.
Well, do we know for a fact who the villain is in the Flash?
It's the quote unquote villain is the Speed Force, because the Speed Force is its own entity in the comics and every media. It's its own entity.
Is there a possibility Reverse Flash does show up? We just don't know. Or Reverse Flash.
Well, there is another
the other Barry Allen instead of
there is another Flash villain that is connected to the Speed Force named Black Flash, who is a time wraith speedster. And the time wraiths are like these little demons that look like Dementors who basically take, speedsters in this like Speed Force jail and blah blah, and take them in because they've ruined timelines. The thing about Black Flash, if you've messed with the timeline so much, he just erases you from the whole timeline. So the thing, and so that's, and also hold on, do I have a picture of it?
That's what I was gonna say. Like, they might do some like opening real quick and just
right,
do something like that.
I think I have it here. Let me hold on. Let me find this image and then.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna talk real briefly about why I mentioned the Batman. It's a small little thing. If you go on Google and search. Let me get rid of this comment. If you search Batman or Bruce Wayne or Gotham City or Bat Signal, that will come across your screen. It's just a little cool way of building hype. Some people might see it as silly. I think it's kind of cool. But I can say that even though I'm not too crazy about Pattinson so far, I know he's going to knock it out of the park, and I'm going to be wrong. I just need to see the movie. And without giving spoilers away, not that I have any spoilers, but what's the name? MTV accidentally gave a review, and so far it is glowing. The reviews are that this movie is going to be something else. It's going to be beyond what your expectations are, and all I can say is that this movie, I think, is not going to be like a Marvel movie that you watch and like 2 minutes later you're on to the next thing. I think that even though Doctor Strange is coming out in May, that we'll be talking about this movie for a while. And this is coming from someone who did not necessarily want Ben Affleck to be replaced. I wanted to still see more of the Affleck Batman. I'm still curious what his story with Joe Manganiello and whatever this, a script that was originally written was going to be like. And I hope we can still see that on HBO Max one day, but it doesn't look like we're ever going to get that. But if you go to Google, try that out.
Which is really cool. It's really cool.
It's cool.
I did it on my computer and my phone. I was like, because I just was looking up the Batman stuff. And I was like,
Aaron, they might change the origin, though. That's my thing, and that's what I'm worried about. They might not even do Reverse Flash. They might be like, let's just do our own thing, and Marvel's done that too. Like what they did with the Mandarin. Like, we'll do our own version of the Mandarin.
So this is a stunt team 2021 T-shirt.
Yeah.
And what I've recognized is that the Flash figure right there does not look like Barry Allen.
No, he is not that jacked.
Not that jacked, and also he doesn't have. The crazy thing is that the whole cross sketches is meaningful, and the red and black symbols meaningful. Because look, doesn't that kind of remind you of like that kind of thing right here?
So maybe he is in it. Look, I'm glad they're not telling us everything. I also like that I said this on Tuesday. I don't know what the story for the Batman is going to be. Don't tell me too much. And look, we haven't actually gotten a real trailer for the Flash. We got a teaser after Ezra Miller said we have no footage, and then they showed us a teaser, which I'm guessing they recorded that weeks ahead of time, and then they actually did put together a teaser. And he's got like a choke chain on or whatever. But I think the Flash could be interesting.
Yeah, I do. I really do.
I'm gonna lie. I'm more excited about that to some degree than Black Adam, just because like The Rock has said he's put a lot of input into it, and like The Rock is not a screenwriter, and I hope it's just not a movie where The Rock is just being The Rock, beating people up and laying the smackdown. As much as I love that, I just hope that Black Adam doesn't turn out to be mediocre. Austin is back. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. I'm gonna get some more beer.
Yeah,
I gotta get some more beer.
Yeah, the thing. Okay, so the origin of this DC multiverse, the current media version of Black Flash, is, of course, we all know the TV show The Flash, and in season 2 of The Flash, we had the villain Zoom, and Zoom and Flash, fought. And then Flash used the move that Black Flash had used earlier in the season, and then the time wraiths came as seen in this little thing right here. Is that those Dementor looking things came and just like basically took over Zoom and made him Black Flash into those like this. Basically, it's like the Grim Reaper for the Speed Force, basically. And honestly, it's, and I hope they continue. If he is in this movie, I do hope they use this design still. Still make it better. Obviously, make it more movie looking like, but like with better effects. But at least keep that integral, because it feels weird because you already had like Ezra go on the Flash show. And the thing is, that's the thing, like, that was, like, one thing also, is that you have the Barry Allen, the theatrical Barry Allen, and the TV show, The Flash and Barry Allen meet each other in, like, one of the biggest events on TV history for comics. And then you kind of make that whole thing be like, oh, it's all connected, and all the movies and TV shows are connected. and to not have the thing about the Speed Force is one entity throughout the whole multiverse. It lives outside the multiverse,
Right.
And so to not have the theatrical Flash and the TV Flash not connected to the Speed Force is super weird to me, because one is that the Flash with Zack Snyder's whole thing is that he had him have blue lightning, but blue lightning is a bad type of lightning according to both comics and the show. So it's like, where does this theatrical land in the Speed Force spectrum? Because it's like, it's weird like that. I don't know. That's the thing. That's the thing. Like with them connecting all these things together is a problem, because then you have to really meet with each other and talk with each other and talk like, what is the continuity of this entity that is living outside the multiverse? Because again, like, also the other thing is, like, people forget that Darkseid himself also lives outside the multiverse. So there is not multiple Darkseids. There's not multiple Granny Goodness. There's not multiple Zods and stuff like that. There's only one, and throughout the multiverse. And so there's not like, people are like, oh, you can. So by, that's the thing, like with Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyder Cut, I can see why they do not want Darkseid to be part of it. It's because, and the New Gods movie, it's because they were like, oh, by doing this, we're setting in stone that Ray Porter is the dark side of the whole multiverse, and this is the design for Darkseid throughout the whole multiverse. And I'm sure DC wanted someone else to design Darkseid,
Smooth my balls.
Oh god. Oh god.
But yeah.
Sorry, I had to jump back in there. You know what? After Avengers: Infinity War and Endgame, they want like an actor to play Darkseid. Like, they want a performer. They want a performance.
Yeah.
Even though I'm fine without Ray Porter.
Like, I want Ray Porter to come back, but I just think that with DC, one is like someone who to have like actual creative control, full on creative control over Darkseid, to create him and have the whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't know yet, because based off of what we've seen so far, he can't. So far we've seen he can't. So if he does in the movie,
sorry, I was just texting Austin. Then Austin said he's got to go, and I'm like, Austin, I'm gonna do a transition real quick, and he just left.
But the thing is, if he does do in this movie,
yeah,
that means that they'll I wonder what the power level for the Flash is, because that's really based off his power level. It's going to be based off what he can do with the Speed Force, and I really hope that they explain the Speed Force the same way that the TV show does, because if they do it something different, totally different, then they must have continuity for the Speed Force as a whole throughout the multiverse, because the Speed Force lives outside the multiverse and it's connected throughout the whole. Every speedster is connected via the Speed Force.
Speed Force, okay.
And the Speed Force lives out the multiverse, so that means there is no different rules and set times for the Speed Force. The Speed Force has its own rules, and every universe doesn't have its own rules for the Speed Force. There's one set of rules for the Speed Force, and it lives outside the multiverse, and every speedster is connected throughout.
Oh.
And the thing is also is that the crazy thing is about the show is that they made it where Grant Gustin's Barry Allen is the main Barry Allen. So Ezra Miller's even from the pilot, even with before Crisis, they've made it where Grant Gustin, the TV show's Barry Allen, is the main Barry Allen because of the way they did his origin of him being struck by lightning. Mm-hmm. And him being struck by lightning, and that is because the lightning that struck him is him from the future who ran back into the time, and that's what starts the Speed Force.
Yeah.
And without this Barry Allen running back in time to hit himself with the lightning bolt to become the Flash, then there will be no Speed Force. So
interesting. All right. See, when guys geek out like this, I'm sort of like, I'm listening, I'm taking notes.
But Anthony, the difference between the Reverse Flash and Barry Allen is the Reverse Flash is he's from the future who comes in the back in time, who already has become what he thinks he's the negative Speed Force god. Because he is the fastest negative Speed Force user and one of the fastest Speed Force users because he's from the future and he has time to practice and to get better at mastering the Speed Force. That's why he's better.
I think maybe if I could
current.
speak for Anthony, I think Anthony's worries that they're going to try too much in one movie. They're going to give him an origin.
Yeah,
story,
that's also my problem too. That's my problem too. Is that there's so much that you have to do.
They're going to do. They're going to do it all in one movie, and this might end up being a 3-hour movie. And they're introducing Supergirl, and they're going to have to explain Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton. I mean, they could do that in one scene, but this might be too much. But it could be good. I'm just saying. I think it has.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, there's so much that they have to do in this movie because this is the first Flash solo movie.
Oh, baby, I'm ahead of you. Sorry, I've heard of Resurrection. Sorry.
It's like this movie has a lot to do. It has to explain to the movie audience the Speed Force and how the multiverse and Speed Force interconnect.
Yeah.
And that's going to be very confusing for people who are just watching to watch for a certain things,
Okay.
That's why that's one of my main concerns about this movie is how they convey certain concepts to the general audiences who don't know. I
trust Andy Muschietti as a storyteller. I just don't trust WB to let him tell his story correctly, if that makes sense.
Right.
That's what I'm worried about. But real quick, Integrity. Sad Wings is one of my favorite songs. Sad Wings of Death, which is also the name of Judas Priest album. And you asked me what my second favorite album is. I mean, I'm a big fan of Point of Entry because it has Heading Out to the Highway, which you guys should check out my new guitar. It's a Dimebag Darrell. Beautiful. Austin. Oh my God, I called you Austin.
Wait, hold on.
Anthony, you answer this.
Yeah.
So I think
50% or 100. The reverse Flash is in it as a cameo, and the director did like how Time got picture last year.
Maybe they.
I think it's
the main villain, but like
it's like right there. It's right. It's to me. It's right there to the point where I think there's a possibility that Tom Cavanaugh does have a cameo as Reverse Flash, or Matt Lesher, or a new actor, or like both the TV actor and the new actor are meeting together and we're the Reverse Flash of these two Barrys and we need to work together type thing. I don't know.
Sorry, I just want to show my Dimebag Darrell guitar.
Oh wow!
Beautiful. Just kidding.
That's just. Oh,
bought it.
I removed you from the stream and I meant to make you solo instead of removing.
I'm going solo. Yeah, but this is going to be part of the new logo. This guitar. But I ordered it around Christmas and it arrived yesterday.
Oh wow!
It took a while to get here. So, but this will be part of the logo, the official Diamond Jack logo. Wow. So I'm excited for that. But it's a gorgeous guitar, and my fingers are bleeding because I've been playing it all day. I was playing it all day yesterday, like on and off, and my fingers started getting callousy. But it's a gorgeous guitar. You'll see this, and if you ever watch the credits and you wonder why there's the name of a model and photographer. It's because we were waiting on this. I was supposed to have the logo done like a month ago, but because of the what do you call it? The shipping inventory problem. It's nice, and I have a huge 5,000 watt amp downstairs, so I'm going to destroy my neighbor's windows. I got to get better though. I haven't played every day in a while, so it's a gorgeous guitar. Gorgeous guitar, and brand spanking new, made by the factory. Oh, you got to see Dimebag Darrell. That's actually pretty cool. He's buried in a Kiss
Live
Call.
6 times, 3 with each band. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Enosh.
Oh, it's Enosh. You heard Dimebag Darrell, and he's like, I got to show up. Numbers go up. Numbers go up.
And then they go down. It's 18, 15, 10. 2, 1, 0.
Stop by, say hi, because I've been busy all day. So,
hello, Enosh. I'm gonna say this. It's hilarious. Funny enough, is Justin was there since until 6 a.m. my time, 9 a.m. your time. I checked in like every hour, and I was just like, I'm just gonna check, and he was gone like at like 6:05 my time. I was like, okay, because I was like, I checked like at 7:30, at 5:30. I was like, okay, so it was between 5:30 and 6. He left.
That was pretty funny. Yeah, he messaged
That was
me.
pretty fun.
He's like, "Oh crap!" It's like, "Dude, I fell asleep." And I'm like, "Well, I'm just saying, man, it was pretty interesting because you might have said some stuff about David Lee Roth that you weren't expecting."
Uh-oh.
So there you go.
Yeah.
So, all right.
I
Well,
was
I just want to say hi. I got some wood, and
he got some wood.
I got wood. And I'm leaving. So I got more wood right here.
You're always welcome, man. Anytime.
Love you guys. Have a good show.
Love you.
All right. See you later.